Hey guys, Mike here. So today I'm going to talk about a sector that just doesn't get enough love because it's not a sexy pick. It's not something you're going to stand around the water cooler at work or at home around the dinner table, talking about these types of investments. Not like talking about EVs, alternative energy, or fintech or anything like that. But, it goes hand in hand with this push we have to get everything online, to get everything uploaded to the cloud, for all these fintech companies to hold our financial data online and in the cloud as well. And you have to have these type of companies. And what we're going to be talking about is the cybersecurity industry and the huge returns they've had so far and all the growth potential that is projected over the next decade. All right, and in this video, I'm actually going to compare two different things to each other, and I think you'll be surprised of the returns when when you compare one to the other. It kind of surprised me actually. So there's different avenues to go down to invest in this sector, but it just doesn't get enough love. And so all I'm asking is hit the like, subscribe button if you get anything out of it. And I want to go ahead and just start off with a guy who actually specializes in this sector and talks about this huge potential that we're talking about.
Right now, we're only a third of the way through the cloud transition. As companies move to cloud, that's something that cybersecurity becomes front and center. And it's sort of a new area that you're going to see spend in, which is, part of what we're seeing across the board. And it's not just enterprise, it's governments. And these are the threat levels that I think it's really unlike anything I've seen 20 years covering the sector. That's why I continue to think it's a golden age for cybersecurity. I think these are stocks that continue to be in the sweet spot. We think that we're looking somewhere about 22% growth for cybersecurity this year and into next year, sustainable levels. Because I think many have underinvested in terms of cybersecurity. But the biggest thing is you talk about these moves to cloud with Microsoft, Amazon, Google, IBM, and others. Cybersecurity goes hand in hand. And that's why you're really seeing the sector, white hot here. But I think we're still in the early innings of what's just a transformational growth cycle.
And of course, what's the main reason for this big push all of a sudden, and what's going to continue to push these companies sky high, is going to be just all the different ransomware attacks we've seen on the news. I mean, it's up 62% worldwide, up a whopping 158% just in North America alone. And then this is the list. You just kind of scroll down the most popular ones. Colonial Pipeline we knew about, Brentag, Acer, JBS Foods, Quanta. I mean, they even hacked the NBA for crying out loud. So, and the list goes on and on. And these are just the ones we actually know about. And this is the growth he was talking about, anywhere from 10 to 15% over the next basically 8 to 10 years worth of growth. They think the industry value is going to double from 167 billion to 350 billion. And if you're looking to get into one of these companies, if you're going to choose an individual company, there is a long list here to go through, as you can see. And I'm going to add one right here for you. It just came IPO this last year. Sentinel-1 has over 4,000 customers. And you recognize some of these customers. You got Norwegian, JetBlue, Aston Martin, TGI Fridays, Pandora, Fiverr, and so Shutterfly, Autodesk. And of course, if you're like me and most people, and you don't have time to go through a list that long, I suggest just going to look up the top cybersecurity ETFs, which I'm going to do for you, and look at where the smart money's going. And so these right here are the top cybersecurity ETFs right here, right? You got them going anywhere from $4.83 billion market cap all the way down to like $3 million market cap, okay? You can see the ones at the bottom there, they're smaller, have a much larger expense ratio. If you're looking to get into ETFs, which we'll go into in just a second, they all got little cute names like Hack and Bug and stuff like that. And so this is the biggest one, worth billions of dollars, obviously. But you'll see these same names, Zscaler, CrowdStrike, Okta, Fortinet is another one. And so, Palo Alto is a whole nother one. But you see in this one, the top 10 make up 51% of this one. Then you can go into another one, cute one called Bug right here, right? Who's at the top again? Zscaler, I hope I say that name correctly. Fortinet, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto, Okta. And once again, if we go into the next one, guess who's number one again? Zscaler, right? Fortnite at the top, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto is number 5, Okta is number 6. Again, this top 10, makes up about 43% of this ETF. And then if we go into a smaller one, you'll see right here, it's only valued around $33 million in assets. But if you look at it, there's CrowdStrike number 4, Palo Alto number 5, Fortinet again, Okta, Zscaler again. And so, that, and their top 10 makes about 58%. But when we look at how these have performed, I mean, this is overall, and you can see a lot of these ETFs are new, right? Only 2 of them have been around for more than 5 years, you can see right there. Most of them have been around for a year or two. But you can see the returns over their lifetime are really good. And then if you look at year to date on these ETFs, you can see the return right here. Since the beginning, they're up between 16 to 18%. And then as you can see lately, you're talking anywhere from 3 to 7.5% right now, still in the green. And then we compare the most popular stocks. You can see a lot of them hadn't been around that long. Again, this is to me just really more of a newer type of sector because of the online push for everything. And you can see if you just look at the 5-year return, you're looking anywhere from 200 to upwards of 700% over the last 5 years in these companies here. And then if you look at the last year, you can see them up quite a bit, anywhere from 59 to 136%. And then looking just in 2021, you can see they're up massively, right? I mean, 30 to 112%. Fortinet's performed obviously the best of all of these. And then recently, you can see they're still up. Finally, there's Datadog, which is a more and less well-known one, outshining them all. But you saw that in the last ETF. But again, great returns on these stocks. And one thing that caught me off guard a little bit here, because obviously, as you can see, I mean, you can try to go one of the big dogs. You can try to pick one of the newer ones, like I mentioned one before. If you're more, you like a little more risk or whatever. But I was surprised at how well these ETFs have performed versus the actual, big stocks here. And check this out. This is the last 6 months of this year. As you can see right here, here's those same ETFs, and you look to the right, you're looking anywhere from 12 to almost 20%, right? But you see 3 of them are between 18 and almost 20% over the last 6 months. And then you pull up the stocks and look at CrowdStrike. Look down there at Palo Alto. Look at Zscaler, which is one of the big ones, right? They haven't outperformed the ETFs that much. And again, I said Fortinet is that thing right there has just been killing it. And so, of course, I was surprised the ETFs had, performed almost as well as some of those major cybersecurity stocks. And, it was kind of surprising to me. I wanted to at least show it to you. That way, if you're not comfortable picking an individual stock, because there is a lot of them to choose from, right, then an ETF automatically diversifies you, and you can see they perform really well. Also, the thing to keep in mind, though, is how much these stocks have ran up, right? And that's why when CrowdStrike reported earnings, it was no surprise they sold off. It didn't matter how good those earnings were going to be. It was already overbought. It had, trailed way away from the trend line that's been moving up on. So usually that always means it's going to be coming back down towards that trend line eventually, especially when it's in overbought territory on an earnings call. And so, this is one of those things you can look at and you say, okay, to me, what I'm doing, definitely got my research here. Gonna start doing more digging, and then when we finally get, some pullbacks on these, because they've ran up a lot right now. I don't think there's any reason to be buying at these highs right now. But, obviously the rest of the year, if there is some kind of pullback in the market and these stocks obviously pull back, then I think it is a good buying opportunity, because there's no doubt as we continue to push forward, we know where we're going. The government's pushing online. Every company out there is pushing online with all these cyber attacks that have been happening. That's just the ones we know about. There's so many behind the scenes, because no company wants you to know they've been hacked, right? Because they look like a fool. And the truth is, yes, a lot of companies have underspent on this, right? In the infrastructure bill, you see a ton of money being set aside for this, because they understand that's really the new war. It's not about ground war anymore. It's about, people sitting in Russia or wherever. I forgot the name of the company that was hacked by a 21-year-old sitting in some other country. But, it was a 21-year-old they found out just sitting in another country and hacked this big company and stole everybody's data. That's the new war, right? That's where we're going with this. And, it's just one of those things where companies realize that. The more money they spend, the less money they may lose, and the more they're going to save face, because if you're not secure, customers will leave you. That's just the way it's going to be. So that's kind of the new thing now. It's like, is my information secure with you or not? And especially since data is the new oil, if you never heard that before, that's true. Now, there are companies out there that's all they do is mine data and sell it. That's all they do. And they say it's the new oil. That's just the way it is, right? People's information is vital. You might, your phone is a great game I like to play. Just sit there and set it down at the dinner table and have a discussion with your better half or your family or whatever about a certain topic. I don't care what it is. And then pick up your phones about 20 minutes later and start trying to go into Google and see or Yahoo, and see if ads don't start popping up about what y'all just talked about, even though you type nothing in this phone, right? And so, Facebook obviously got in trouble for this. Everything's about data. And so they got to figure out how to protect it, because that's something customers are going to be looking at. We're much smarter now, much more advanced. It's at our fingertips. And so, they are stepping up. A lot of CEOs said they're going to spend a lot more money on this. And so these companies should be benefiting, okay? And I think you'll see a lot more companies IPOing as well. Just like you saw with Sentinel-1. Check that one out. It's ran up a lot. Because I was actually going to do a video on that one 2 months ago, but it's ran up a whole bunch now. And so take a look at that, but don't feel like you got to jump in at the top. I mean, I think you're going to get some good deals on these kind of stocks and ETFs over the next few months, and that's what I'm personally waiting on. Again, not financial advice, do what you want to do. But I just think, this sector is going to continue to grow as fintech companies grow, as like the guy said, only 1/3 of everything has been shifted over into the cloud. So as that continues to happen, and as Google continues to grow, and Microsoft, which they will, these companies are going to go right along with them. And so just want to put that out there to you. Hope you got something out of it. Hit the like, subscribe button if you did. Let me know what your favorite cybersecurity company is in the comments, and share with us. And feel free to share some links or whatever, and whatever you want to on that, so we can research and stuff like that. And also your favorite cybersecurity ETF, okay? And so I hope you guys have a good night, and I will see you later. Of course, don't forget, use that link down the bottom right there. Sign up for the new BlockFi credit card, where you can earn crypto on all your purchases, and it has a $0 annual fee.